Hi everybody, it's Louisa here again, and I have three project shares for you. It's actually one large project, but in three parts. This was my very last order because I'm not going to be doing any more special orders because it's just too much of a hassle for me. I'd rather just do something that I like to do and then give it to someone. You know, if they like my style, then it's perfect. But this is an order for my aunt, and actually two of them she's buying, and the third one I'm giving as a gift. And it's for my grandparents' anniversary, which they're going to Ecuador to do a big party for. It's their 60th anniversary. Um, so she asked me to do these tabletop pieces that can hold some photos, which I've done a few before, and she really liked them. So one of the reasons why I really didn't want to do it is because they wanted some red in it, and for me this kind of looks like Christmas, but they love it already because they've seen the pictures, and as long as they like it. So anyway, what you're looking at are some words in Spanish and then the family last name. So on top of the red touches, they also needed some diamonds because it is their 60th, which is the diamond anniversary. So of course I didn't add real diamonds, but I did add bling, and you'll see that as I show each one of them to you separately and more close up. Another thing, I wanted to add other colors, but I only stuck with white and a green, so you'll see a little bit of the light green. And then the touch of gold, which the name Game significates in the Chinese community, at least what they told me, represents gold. So I used some gold in there because my grandfather's actually Chinese. So I also wanted, of course, to make a garden theme because family usually is kind of like, a garden where you're just growing all these children. My family is a very large family. So that's why I stuck with a garden theme. And then the words, again, this is the last name. Amor is love, and then familia is just family. So they just wanted it in Spanish because all this is going to be going to Ecuador. And aside from being home decoration, they're actually going to display this during the party. So she also asked that I put the clothespins like I did last time so that they could put some photos. And she just wanted a total of 8 on all of them together as a whole. So 8 photos. It would be 8 photos of each sibling or the family photos. They're each, like my mom, there would be a photo of me, my brother, my mom, and my dad, and then so on and so forth, and then one just for my grandma and my grandpa. So I'm going to start with, now the way I did this, and it kind of worked out in a way, the word familia is pretty long. So I ended up having to put the fences at a corner angle. So this is going to be like the centerpiece, and then these two are going to be on the ends. So that's how come this one's kind of that way, but it's like perfect. What I used to create this, I don't have the packaging anymore, but this is a pack of 2 wooden pieces, just wood, that I got from, I don't know where, but it was either Joann's or AC Moore. And I already had one left over from another project, so that gave me the 3 that I needed. I created the fences using a die because they do sell this particular fence, small ones, but they're kind of pricey, and I would have needed 6 of them. And even with the sale and everything, it still came out pricey. And I wanted to keep this as cheap as possible because she was paying me, even though she didn't have to, but she is paying me for this, except for one of them, as I told them it's going to be my gift. So I used this die from Sizex. It's called Fence. And that's the number, and it does a pretty decent size fence. And I punched out or cut out, it takes 2 fences, but I wanted to make it thick, so I had chipboard, and I cut it out 4 times for each one of these pieces. So there are 2 sandwiched together, and then 2 going the long ways, and again this one is going at a little bit of an angle. and I just simply hot glued it down to my base. And it stood up pretty good because hot glue dries, you know, instantly, and it stood up. So once I had that put together, then I gessoed it a couple times, stuck together, and you can kind of see over here on the bottom. It's just glued down there, nothing crazy. And I always tell everybody that I make something like this for, it's stuck together with hot glue, so just be careful with it because I don't use any other special glues. And then once you put all your stuff on there on both sides, like I did here and here, that gives it extra support. I did do one coat of gesso on the bottom, and I will be signing one of these with a little note to my grandparents. So another thing that I used for all the alphas, it was hard to find the letters, plus I needed a certain size for them. And since they wanted it in Spanish, I couldn't just get a sign that already said family because they wanted it to say familia, and I couldn't just use love because they wanted to say amor. So I ended up having to create that myself as well. And all the letters that I have were either too small or just, it didn't work out. So I went to Hobby Lobby, and when these things were 50% off, I just bought these wooden letters, and they come in these two different packages, but they're found in the same spot, wood pile and whatever that is, wood letters. So they're all wood letters that were 99 cents, but I paid only 49 cents or 50 cents. And they come with 4 letters. So I needed to get, because a lot of these had the same letters, so I needed a few of them. And that's what I am left over with. And before I glued them down, I painted them. So let me show you. Actually, I daubed them. I didn't even use a brush for that. I used this gold metallic here, dazzling metallic from Deco Art, and it's the Emperor's Gold. And I just daubed it a couple times with that color as the base. And on the back, I did do one coat of gesso so that everything on the back would be white. And then while I was working with this, I had all these lined up in a U shape on my desk so that I could visualize how they all look together. So I wanted to make sure when I did this, you know, where the words are going to sit. So like on this one, the name is on this side. This is centered. And then this one, the name is on this side. So when I pull them apart, the words are a little closer to each other. So I took that into consideration when I was doing this. So that's how I decided where the letters are going to go, and I sort of centered it with this little piece right here, but just a little bit lower because I wanted to show the tops of the fence. So once I got the letters on already painted, I decided to give it a little bit of a worn look or distressed look. So I went over them kind of heavily with this Inca Gold from Viva first. And then I went over it a little bit with my Inca Gold, what is this one? Hematite. So it's a little bit of a dark color. Just using my finger, I just went over everything, all those letters. And I mean, you could see the shine on it, but from a distance, I don't know if you can see the dark areas. I think maybe here. Let's see here if it clears up. Like on the first letters, you can kind of see the darker parts a little more. Right, and of course you see gesso too. That was like the last finishing touch. Okay, so I put those down. Next thing I did was I added these little, I think they're garden spikes, you know, like for your potted plants and stuff. I picked those up in the dollar spots at Michael's or $1.50. So I had a package of 2, and I used one on this side and then one on, it's not easy to show this, on this side. This one I left blank. This is where I put the 60. Now I had this chipboard numbers. It actually had a pattern on there, but I went over it with the this Inca Gold. I don't know if it has a name. This was old silver. Old silver, but it looks like gold to me. Anyway. So I went over it really heavily with that, and then a little bit of that hematite again. And just stuck it on there. And then on the other one, I left blank. So here, I did tie with seam binding on one of these things, a little chalk. They could take it off, and I figure somebody could just sign it from the family or something like that when they're displaying it at the party. And they could write whatever they want. But on this one, I put one of the clothespins so they could actually stick. I would think that this would be the one with Grandma and Grandpa, and then the rest can be the family group photos. So, and the clips that I use are, I think they're Prima clips. I don't know. They had something already on them, but I took them off. I used them because they already had this paint on there, and I didn't want to take the time to paint more stuff. I really wanted to get this done and over with, even though it's not due till, it's not even due till like the early July. But I just wanted to get this out. I like to do my projects early, and I know everyone that I've done swaps with say I do it quickly, but I just like to get them done early and be way ahead so that I know it's done, and then I can continue on something else. And I do have one more project for my aunt to do, which she needs to give me the stuff first before I can actually work on it. Anyway, so there's the 60. They wanted, 60 on here somewhere, so I put it here under where the name is game. The bling that you see here is from Hobby Lobby, and I bought about a yard of this stuff, a nice big chunk, and this is all that I had left. These are thick ones. I really wanted it to show, and it's the perfect size to fit on the side of this piece of wood, so I did all 3 of them that way. And then I took and put one strip on one letter on each name, and on the F here, I see the F, and that was it for that. So I had done that first, and then I decided, okay, let me break out some of my things in my stash that I don't use a lot anymore. Like the little ceramic pots. These are terracotta pots. I have 2, and the other one is on the word amor. I'll show you that later. So I did brush my finger over them with that old silver Inca gold, and then I took the sprays that I have that I don't use often either. I just have a small box now left of these things. So I used up all that I had of the colors that you see here so that there wouldn't be any more. I just wanted to use them up and, just get rid of them. So I used them between the 3. I just tried to scatter them around each 3 of them so they all look like they go together. And you'll see they're coming out of the pots. They come down the side here and then here. And then I added a couple of these little beaded hearts with a little bling on there that I had in my stash also for a really long time. I used one here and another one somewhere else. And then the flowers are just an assortment of Wild Orchid Craft, some from my stash, some foam flowers. These are also foam. Someone gave me these. I believe they're Prima. More foam here. So just a variety of the red, the white, and a little bit of light green. In the pots, I wanted it to be filled with the flowers and the sprays, and then I tucked in a little white bird. And then I also took these little blings that I had, and I used the entire, whatever I had left, on all 3 of these. I don't use them, so I figure, you know what, I have to have diamonds in here, so I'm just going to use them all in this project. So you'll see them scattered about. I think there's just 3 in this particular one. And then you turn it around, and again, I wanted to add a few more things to stabilize this even more. So I just put some more of the flowers, and it also covers up some of the areas that were really kind of ugly looking from the front. And then here you'll see the clips. They're just all hot glued, so I tell them, it's hot glued, so be careful. And so there's 3 spots there. So, and on this one says Amor. Again, the same thing with using all the sprays. Here I have the other pot. Now I've deliberately put one pot on that one and then one pot on this, and in the center it's something different. There's no pot on that one, so it's spread out. So I did the same thing with this pot. The only thing is that I had it in the same spot because I had put down this heart here. I couldn't put my pot there. I would have preferred to have the pot since it's here also on this side, but it doesn't matter. I put the heart there instead. And that heart is actually a gum paste heart that I had picked up a while ago. It's actually a bakery thing that you can place on your cakes and stuff, but it's not really edible because it's too hard. But you don't want to paint it either because it gets sticky and tacky. So instead, I just rubbed on the Inca Gold, which is a wax, and that also seals it. So if it does get wet, it won't make the sugar start to get you know, wet and sticky. So since this is the one that says Amor, love, I wanted to put the big heart there, and in front of it I put the little metal bird cage from Michael's, another little bird there, and then you'll see all the sprays and everything spread out, and the little bling again. I did put a couple of flowers up here where this sign is. And let's see what else. It's pretty much the same thing. The other pots, another flower, and then another birdie here. Of course, you know, two lovebirds together on the one. I kind of like that idea. And I did use all the birds that I have left that are this size so that I don't have any more. I have little smaller ones. Some more bling. And, you know, I could try to like cover little areas here. Like here I covered it up. I did use a little bit of a darker green with those little tiny Wild Orchid Craft flowers. And then again the back. And this is where I tied with seam binding the chalk. So, and you can't even see it from the front. So it's kind of hidden. And this only has 2 clips. Okay, and then the last one is the middle one, which spells out family or familia. It was the only way that I could fit it in is by giving it that little angle there. But again, this will be the center one, so it's like perfect. For this one, I decided to use a little tin, what's that called? Bucket that I had in my stash. I only have some little white ones left over. And it is so cute, just like spilled, you know, laying down. And then I put a little bird's nest inside, like these little birds started to make a little bird nest in the bucket. And behind the bird, there's a couple of flowers in there, and then the bird, a couple little flowers in front of him. The other bird sitting on top, and I did gesso them as well a little bit, not too much. And then again, just more sprays. Here's the other beaded hearts, some more of these. And just more of the same thing going on in both directions this time. And that is pretty much it. And this one has three clips. I put just a few flowers. It kind of holds itself when it's at an angle like this, so I didn't need too much. So that is my project. I'll have to show it like this because altogether it's kind of big. I don't know how they're going to take it with them. They said they're going to carry it on with them. I told her how. I'm like, you sure you want me to make this? Because, you know, I don't feel safe taking this on a plane. So anyway, it's on them now. So I am done with that. So as long as they bring me the last thing to do, and I will be completely done, and I will not be doing any more orders. So yeah. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye now.